Hi folks, I hope you are well. Quick video. Okay, I've spoken before about situations in Palestine where Palestinians and the Arab world expects us in the West to be horrified at the idea that children get killed in a war situation. Yeah. The problem is Arabs will use children in war situations. And again, I'm not saying they're wrong to do that, because if you believe you're at war, if you believe that someone has invaded your country, then, well, the reality is, why not? If you truly believe that these infidels that are coming into your country, whether they're Jewish or whatever, Europeans or whatever, if you believe they're infidels and that they hate you and they hate everything about you and that they will kill your women and children, then why not put guns in the hands of women and children? It's the best way for them to be protected, right? In a way, yeah, you can get it. You can understand why they do it. So I don't blame them for doing that. If you're at war, that may have happened. If Germany had invaded the UK in the Second World War, would it have been right for young boys, even girls, of around about 10 or 11 to be given guns? Why not? If you can be counted as an extra soldier, yeah. If you can carry the thing and shoot it, better than you being shot. They're coming here to kill our people. Yeah, of course. If Churchill would have said we're going to use boys and girls from the age of 10, even younger, from the age of 8, we're going to teach them to shoot, and we're going to use them as well. No problem, right? I wouldn't have a problem with that because, of course, you're defending your country. Cool. So Palestine, places like that, no problem in doing that. The problem I have is in when they say it was out of order for the other side to kill their children. Who put the children there? They did. This is what the Arab world do all the time. They do these things, which is okay. I get it. Yeah, I get it. But then, what are you doing? You then wanting sympathy. You put in images of children dead. But again, if you have your people hiding in schools and hospitals, come on. Yeah. You put children in the way. Yeah. You know the religions that are of the devil. Because they are like that. Catholicism is like that. Catholicism was one of the most warring belief systems. Yeah. A lot of the wars that have happened is religion. Catholicism. Yeah. They didn't care about killing people or killing kids. The people didn't care about kids being abused by the priests, did they? Not really. They tried to hide it, didn't they? That's true. Why? And in the Second World War, what country really got behind Germany? Come on. You know that religion was created by the devil, not God. You know that. And Islam, exactly the same. If you look at them, you know by what they do. You can see by what they do. Again, people say you can't really say that stuff. Well, is it true? If it's not true, tell me it's not true. And prove it that it's not true. If it's true, you should say that. What's the issue about saying truth? Because people get offended? Well, truth has offended people in the past. Yeah. Because if people if people are in darkness, light will always offend them. Always. So truth is light. So talk truth. Don't care about if you're offending people, because, again, lying because you think it's better because you don't offend people. You can't say you're of God if you want to lie. The God of lies is the devil. Right? Come on. So again, yeah, as I said, yeah, if they want to use kids, fine. Yeah, okay. Some people will say that's wrong, but again, you can understand. But when they say, we were using kids to kill you, but you killed that kid, and that was wrong. Why? How is it wrong? If kids have guns, and it's a war, if you see someone with a gun pointing a gun to you, kill that person. If it's a kid, sorry, you shouldn't have a gun trying to kill me. A lot of people in wars were killed by kids because they didn't think that kid would actually kill them. Again, some kids won't. But again, sorry, if a kid won't kill you, most times they will drop the gun and run away, won't they? Really? Because why would they hold the gun and point it to you when you've got a gun pointing to them? No, they'd be scared. And again, sorry, that's the point. That's war, isn't it? That is war. And the problem is with war, people are being killed. And of course, old people would be killed, young people would be killed, babies would be killed. Most people in a war won't try to kill babies, but they still get killed by the war, don't they? If you bomb an area, yeah, come on. In the last war, big war, they were bombing cities at night time. The first time they did it, people were sleeping. Families were sleeping. And they killed mothers, sons, kids, babies that were sleeping. Right? Come on. Were they trying to kill babies? No, but they were bombing houses. They were bombing cities where people were living in. Of course they were killing kids and babies. But that's war. So when people from the left says, oh, you have to stop the war because kids are being killed, that's war. Again, the Second World War, at the end of it, they were basically trying the people who lost. And if they say that person was guilty, they killed that person because they lost. That was the first time in the world that really happened. Well, actually, no. With most wars, if you lost, you were killed anyway. But did they do what they did in the Second World War at the end of it? No. No. Because obviously, most of those people who they said were guilty weren't really guilty. Because again, it was war. That's what you do in war. Because again, sorry, the point of war is you kill the other side, the people in the other side, you have to kill them. Okay? If you think those people are really good, it's bloody hard to kill someone if you think that person is really good. If you think everyone is evil, right, and not really humans, if you think that, it's really easy to kill them. Yeah? If you look at every war, or most big wars, yeah, they thought the other people were really evil, nasty, rapers, that sort of thing. Yeah? Really nasty people. Yeah? Because it made it easier to kill them. So therefore, sorry, everything they done was easy because, yeah, the point of war is thinking, yeah, the one you kill is so bad and so evil and so nasty. You're helping the world by killing those people, right? And again, even the Jewish people, what they did to them, okay? Again, it's war. Because again, yeah, even the way they did that, you could understand why. Because again, if you put all those people in an area, yeah, the Jewish people in camps, and you have to care for those people, give them food, make them warm when it's winter, having jobs and making them still fit so they can actually be okay when the war is gone. It costs money. All of that will cost so much money. If there's so many camps, so many people in camps, how can you deal with that? And how can you deal with the war if you have to pay so much money to keep those people alive? You can't. And again, the reason why that is the situation is because hundreds of years ago, if it is a war, you wouldn't put people in camps unless you wanted to use them for something else, right? Because again, you have to feed them, you have to make them warm when it's cold, and yeah, you have to make the water clean so they can drink, and yeah, there's a lot of things you have to do to make sure they don't die, right? And everything costs money, so therefore, in the past, no, they just killed everyone because it's easier to just do that. So again, as I said before, killing those people by shooting them, bullets, okay. I saw something about it, and they said, also, that was that film about, about those people, those German people, that were guilty, and they were saying, with the Jewish people, when they killed them, they put them into a fire to heat the camp. They were using those bodies, to put them in the fire, to make the fire, to make the area. Okay. Again, if you told people hundreds of years ago, when they killed people, you can use a body. You can actually make a fire and put the body on the fire, and the fire will be still there, and it keep you all warm. Would they use it? Yes. So, again, the Jewish people doing that, okay. I understand that. I understand why they did it. If they've got bodies that are dead, why use wood? I'm not saying they were right, but that's war. All of it. The point of war is, it isn't nice. Never nice. But people think now, especially the Jewish people against the other side, the Jewish people should be nice. The Jewish army should be nice. Only killing the people who want to kill them. That's not bloody war. I don't know what that is, but that's not war. I think that's a game on the computer, is it? Choose who you kill. That's not war at all. So it's bizarre. It is bizarre the way things are. And so, And again, I'm not saying that we should kill people and use people and not wood for the fires. No, of course not. I'm just saying you can understand why they did what they did. And that's the point. And that's why I say, can you say those people were really guilty? No, because if you can understand why they did what they did, then, you can say it wasn't nice. You can say they weren't really loving the people. Yeah, but again, that's war. War is bloody nasty. Look at the First World War, for goodness sake. Look at what happened there. You had people who were going up, and so many people were killed. It was mad. The First World War was absolutely mad. So again, Yeah, and look at what happened to Germany after the First World War. Yeah, their country was completely wrecked by that. Because other countries wouldn't actually let them deal with their country. Well, they were making that country worse for a long time. And that's why Hitler, that's why people loved him. So again, understand why. I don't blame the German people at that time. I wasn't alive at that time. I don't blame the Jewish people in the war in that area right now. I could even understand from the other side. In that October thing, what they did. I can understand that. From their view, if you were telling people the Jewish people are so nasty, they were stealing your areas and killing your kids, then what they did was, okay. You can understand it. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean you're saying it was good. But actually, if you want to talk about issues like that, then try to understand those people. Yeah. Try to understand them because, yeah. There's too many people that want to judge everyone without trying to understand people. When you try to understand people, you will never judge them. Because when you understand, yeah, you stop judging them because you say, okay, now I can understand from their view. Yeah. It doesn't mean they were right. But from their view, they were. From their understanding, they were right. Yeah. And that's the point. With all this stuff with war and, yeah, as I say, yeah, the Arab world using kids, I understand it. In different conflicts, I understand it completely. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying don't expect the West to feel all that guilt or put all that guilt on them when a kid is killed, because that's war. If it's okay for you to use kids, then yeah. You can't complain when, yeah, you want to war, then okay. And of course, with that October thing, what they did, doing that was basically saying, what are you going to do about it? Of course. They wanted a war. That's that situation, isn't it, really? What they wanted was wars, and so yeah. So enjoy. You take care. Try to understand.